Either it be economics or AI, both are uh, working in their field based on the law that is uh, universally acceptable. And anyhow, you guys or the AI thing is being developed, and then it is brought up that economics have this flaw, whereas economics people are also developing economics on the basis of the laws which cannot be changed.
Yeah,
So what I was saying is,
yeah,
the
like,
the problem you guys are creating must be dealt by you.
okay, I get that. We are making machines, so, but there is, it's all interconnected. No, economics is interconnected with technology. It's not like
Uni-
economics cannot run without technology, and technology cannot work without economics. So it's like
University and diversity.
you are making money, but you need banks, and banks work on technology majorly. All the websites, cryptography, and all. Anyhow, coming to today's point of Goodhart's law. Last time I did it very informally when I was editing the video, whatever editing I did, like just starting and ending. Then I saw that there was no introduction to the topic and just like jumped into it. So Goodhart, okay, what do you know about Goodhart's law, and like you can introduce the topic if you like, or if you say I would do it.
Grad law is something which says that whenever
I think 5 marks answer. It is something that's it. You can directly come to the point. Okay.
whenever a measure uh, becomes the target, then the measure becomes bad in itself.
It ceases to be a good measure. Okay, good. Now, if we convert the basis of this into some other basis that other people can relate and understand very properly, the गीता वाला अगर कर्म अगर कर्म ही फल बन जाएगा तो कर्म बेकार हो जाएगा और मधुशाला वाले भाषा में अगर मधुशाला की आशा ही नहीं अगर शाला की आशा ही मधुशाला बन जाएगी तो फिर मधुशाला बेकार हो जाएगा एंड in NOBP, computer programming language, if the output becomes the processing, then the processing is not a proper processing. All the different conversions of the same point, same in different language. Yeah. So and with it is specifically useful to me with respect to designing tests. How we can test a machine that it is intelligent or not, and designing a test not just for machine majorly, but okay, let us say we can also design for humans. How to design a test, a measure that cannot be made into target that can be floated by a machine or a human, let's say in this aspect, because humans are also machines nowadays. So yeah, this is a fundamental thing. And except this, the other point why you should be like this, because the economist that gave it originally wrote all about it from the standpoint of economics. Like when he was saying all this measure target, he was considering money. Because I got to know this that the concept of calling model, like the term model for the AI models was generated from and copied from economics. It was not taken from computer science. Originally in economics field, humans are called models or objects. Like they are modeled like that. We are modeling the population. We are modeling a human that he will take this much input. He will take input, output, debit, credit, whatever. So that's like my point being, it has came majorly from economist point of view, and an economist has discovered it. So the fundamental thing is designed whatever is available on internet, because what I did for studying or for preparing is again just talk to ChatGPT. Now I have kind of skipped that path of going to Wikipedia. I rarely go there now because or I do that like first I go through Wikipedia, but not as I used to go earlier. Like clicking through every link and going in depth of every link and point and all. Now I don't do that generally. I just go through an overview through the Wikipedia, all the points and all the contents. And if I have something, I just write them down somewhere. And then later I talk about that topic with ChatGPT for like 10 minutes, a long thread, 5, 6. And in some threads, there are multiple sub threads like that. So yeah, that's how I study now. So I did this kind of study for the Goodhart stuff. Originally, I knew that it was discovered by economists, but I thought It was that kind of thing. Like Schrodinger was a biologist, but he discovered Schrodinger equation of physics and chemistry. It so he did not actually wanted to do that, but it came upon the way, and he was following that curiosity, and it came that he discovered Schrodinger equation. But he discovered it from the perspective of a physicist, not from a perspective of a biologist discovering something. But the strange thing about the Goodhart's law was that he discovered it. He was economist, and he discovered it as part of economics. Did not even thought about the implications of this thing in philosophy, psychology, or AI at this moment. So yeah, that's why there is no even like concrete study or original data how it should be used. Like no keynote from the scientist, from the originator, from the discoverer how it should be used from machine. And that is not a good thing because if there would be again no one knows relativity better than Einstein, so no one would know Goodhart's law better than Goodhart. It would be better if he could himself have given something. So he does not have. He has not done it. But we can build upon that. And the yeah, major question at this moment is how can we design a measure that cannot become a target? When I started thinking about it and I started putting myself in the place, how did I did that? How do I not make a measure target? Then it turns out there is again the two polarity things. One thing is the measurer or the one who is measuring, and the other thing that is getting measured. So from my end, it's always like I myself don't want to make a measure a target. It's not like I cannot, but the wisdom thing that I have innately and all understanding and all. So I myself don't want to make the measure the target, or else it is very easy to make any measure target. So, but we cannot assume that machines will have wisdom by default as well, that they will also not want to make measure their target. Or let's say in this case, humans, a lot of human in general, or in majority would have this much of wisdom that they will not want to make a measure target. So we cannot rely on this way, the thing that was applicable to me, that I myself is not making a measure target. So the only thing that we can rely on is that we can make the measure only such that it cannot become a target. We cannot rely on the fact that the target itself, that the measure, the thing that is getting measured itself will not force the measure to become a target. Yeah. So that's why we are seeing the things from this end, how to make a measure that cannot become a target, instead of how to make the people, how to make machines that don't want to make this measure a target. Because the only thing that is required is wisdom, and that's a whole different paradigm. So that route we are already taking in for humans also, with the EQ plan, with the artificial wisdom and safety. But this is the other path also that I'm trying to take at this moment. So like the squeeze theorem converging from the both points. That if you're not getting wise, then I will force you to become wise by designing measures like that. So this is like the opposite take of things. This is my interest in this field, in this topic. I don't know what is yours.
Well, I agree here that whether we talk about humans or the machine, uh, expecting wiseness from both of them isn't much justified. So, well, we have talked about measure that what is a good measure or what is bad measure. Would you like to comment on what is good target or bad target?
As I
You're
did
not audible. Yeah, now yeah.
in the last recording initially only. What is your motive? What is your incentive? Why do you want to think and talk about it? Like in last recording, you told why do you want to think and talk about money? So why do you want to think and talk about Stockholm? Why I'm saying this Stockholm? Uh, Goodhart's law. Why do you want to do this in the first? I told my interest because AI opposite way. These are my interests. Why do you want to think about it? And I am doing this
Well,
all.
honestly, there is nothing very specific, but I would say as it appears to be a good and interesting problem, which I also recently faced.
This is what you
Uh,
said last time also in your money one. When I asked that this was the first understanding. Remember? And then I said, this is not I was asking. Then you said, okay. Then you gave the other answer. So I know that these are the good problem solving. Good problems will give you problem solving skills in general. But why this specific problem? Why do you want to practice with this example? There are a lot
mm,
of books why study
there were these three and four problems which was specifically assigned to me, and
the career is
yeah, talking about this one. So
no, but
yeah,
let
this
keep Google keep the
karma and
these are my topic, but if you want
karma,
modifications of this
karma.
topic,
Mhm. Okay.
term,
So karma and fall thing was recently a good point which was going on in my mind by I think from some past weeks as as I have set a target of something which which is I think a measure, and then I was measuring my success on the basis of the achievement of my target, which wasn't making much sense. And yeah, so this was the thing which I was dealing I mean last to last week, I guess. I had this same discussion with one of my friend too, one of my college friend, and yeah, the thing I'm going to discuss today is somewhat inspired by that communication that I had with that friend of mine. And yeah, there is this economics thing, economics approach, and of course, I'll get to know more with that angle and
so you are
that approach. As I never knew about this good heart and this economics thing, as it was this was never in my syllabus, and I never got
okay.
till there.
So for learning purposes and with respect to you, you are seeing measure and target in the sense of again examination segment. With respect to measure being ability to gain knowledge and target being ability to gain marks, right? This is how you are defining it.
Sorry.
You are seeing it from the examination point of view, except for the major part of, except for majorly gaining some extra knowledge is not bad. The major way that you are saying it is for you, the measure is gaining knowledge and target is gaining marks, right? So if you are making your measure like gaining knowledge for gaining marks, then your gaining knowledge is becoming bad. It's not as good as gaining knowledge.
No, I was not saying this. I was saying that if you are gaining knowledge or anything for the purpose of mask or uh, qualifying something specific, then the knowledge or the information will not be the bad, but the purpose of that exam will not be the successful one.
That's what I'm saying. So for you, the whole measure and target topic has came down to the point where measure is gaining knowledge and target is gaining marks. So if you are targeting, if your measure has become, if your measure can become a target, then your measure is not a good enough measure. That is, if you are gaining knowledge for gaining marks, then you are not properly gaining knowledge. I'm just converting the basis for your usage or for your term. But for my terms, this is different. For philosophy term, it is karma. Well, so in your terms of at this moment, what is this? Right.
Well, I was specifically thinking the same problem with this point of view of the exam and
Mhm.
result thing and the uh, whole basis of admissions and all. As I think we discussed some later that how the purpose of the examinations which are being held isn't just to yeah it shouldn't just be to select someone who just have the knowledge, because having just knowledge doesn't mean that you are well suited or you are the perfect candidate for the applied field, because it's like that you can have more and more knowledge in any field, but you may not be made for it. And by made for it, I mean, of course, like interest and passion things.
So now you are basically touching on some other points that I have written to discuss. Basically, focus on theory versus numerical, which is more important and how it is important. And this other fundamental point, multiple layered learning for different perception, then Kruger part two. So these like you are taking and seeing all these things from this aspect majorly, I guess. And I can already figure out based on the talk that we had on the call, so it's not much new for me. Okay, anyhow. So okay, let us just jump to the base question now, and then we will come to this point later on after figuring out the question. How do we design a method that cannot become a target? If you like, I can say all what I have thought first, then you can go, or you can tell what you have first, then I can go.
Well, what is a good target then? I was just asking you to have some
Self is bad. That's
say on this.
what I'm doing. Like yesterday, how to go money itself is bad. Today, target itself is bad. That concept is bad in itself. That is what I want to say. If there is any measure that can become any kind of target, then the target is it's like target is the Gandhi machli of the fish of the pond. The target is the problem. Being able to make a measure target is the problem. Fal is the problem. Basically,
Well,
how do we
there was this
in a curve?
there was this incident of that Arjuna and the eye of the parrot one.
I know I hit on that example very much to think about my conclusions. Yeah,
Yeah, so there it was
that was
uh,
test, but that cannot become a target.
that that setup was created to, I think, find out the best
Yeah, measure. That is,
answer there.
but that was not able to become a target. Why? I thought about
Hmm.
all. Okay, that's what I'm saying. First, you tell what all you have thought, then I will start with mine. Or if you want,
So what you're saying that target itself is not a good
no,
thing.
anything that can become a target is not good measure. So how do we define a measure that cannot become a target?
Then what about target? Just target without any measure.
Targets are supposed to measure something.
Because having target kind of measures the development or the process,
Mm-hmm.
um,
So it's like,
and it kinds of act like motivation too.
okay, I get all that. But again, if I convert the basis to my x plus I y video, like nature of reality, illusive part and real part. So the measure is the real part of an equation and target is the illusionary part of the equation. You do measure,
Yeah,
get a target. But to get target, you need to do measure. It's not like you can just focus on target and the relationship love equation that people understand very easily. Or
you're
professionalism.
just saying that
You
obviously
cannot- In this conversion, target is profession and passion is measure. Just language games. So yeah, so measure is important. Target is not important. Target will be like a default byproduct. Target should be byproduct, not the central product. But people
you're
use
saying that you can use it as a tool, but you should not drive yourself mm,
yeah,
based on that tool.
fundamental point of all philosophies and wisdom is everything. As I said to that person, wisdom is not having power and then being kind. Wisdom is having power and then also being kind. That is wisdom. So in this point, again, you are having the ability to make a measure a target, but then also you're not making it a target and you are perceiving it as a measure only. That is wisdom. But we are not assuming that the person itself who is being measured is wise enough. So we have to design a measure that cannot become a target. Okay, let me just first say what all I have in my mind. Talking about the example of the Arjun and that thing. So the thing that worked out in that is mock test. There was no mock test. They were not supposed. They had no idea that if I would say this or if I would do this kind of things, then I would get the titlement of Dhanurdhar and the best archer. So
That
random
is one of my point.
randomness is the fundamental point. The more the randomness, the harder it is to make it a target, because we make target about when target is basically correlation matrix. When we can correlate and make predictions, what could be the measure? So we align ourselves to satisfy that set of measure, basic fundamental thing. So the more random the measure is, the more chances are there that can become less target. And it is done by humans and the examination systems in way like half. Now we are going in the opposite direction. It is in chaotic half yearly like unit test, only 2 chapter target. It is very easy to make it a target because it is very less random. There are just 2 chapters, but the if the syllabus is like one whole year worth of syllabus as in board exam. So the measure is so much that you cannot specify it. You have to do a lot of efforts. But again, but these are again flawed because these are not a solution. These are like jugaad. These are not solution that you so like with IIT 2 years of syllabus. With UPSC 5 years syllabus, like increasing the randomness. But increasing randomness is just not a solution, because a problem like this that is so philosophical and fundamental cannot have horizontal solution, you cannot have vertical solutions, like one solution. It's like one solution layered with another solution layered with another solution. When I talk to chat gpt and asking the exact question, how can we make a measure after talking about Goodhart's law, what it is, everything, I ask this question, how can we make a measure that cannot become a target? Then I talked about this for a while, and obviously it cannot create something new and creative, thankfully. At this moment. But the conclusion, but it was kind of saying this thing, there should be multi-layered steps, that there should be student feedback, there should be teacher feedback, there should be student giving companionship to each other, student grading each other marks, the examination should also be randomized at moments, and as it is done in my country. And no, it is not in my country as it is done in my examination system. There should be more set of examination that could be possible, more trial. One, two, three, four. It should not have. It-
Cut that down before people from India
अरे भाई, अरे मेरे मुंह
boycott
से
you.
निकल गई, मेरे मुंह से निकल गई वीजा कैंसिल.
Because there are many Indians there out there too, I think.
Yeah, my point being, they have when I read the chat gpt solution and thought about it, then a lot of solutions that chat gpt suggested were the solutions that were implemented in my college, that are again not being implemented here. But but when ChatGPT gave me these solutions, so that we should make it more randomized, and other thing that it gave in a different way, that there should be more layer of solution. That you are doing one layering by randomizing, then you should also introduce the chance of having more trials. That in one trial one can figure out this concept or this concept, can check that in which kind of things I'm lacking or which kind of measures I don't have. The third was to design questions that are based on events, not abstract, because events by themselves are random. If the question like mathematical questions generally, not the abstract method, not the dimensional, but normal the question itself are so predictable. Again, we have to reduce predictability of a thing. So this was another solution, but all of the solutions were converging. But it's like they were not making a measure that cannot become a target. They were making a measure that is harder to make a target. It's like that. It is not a measure that cannot become a target. It is a harder measure that can to make a target. So layering. So when ChatGPT gave me these solutions that we can make it random and we can make it more layered, the other thing was there, which I said is more the amount of steps that you include, there is more chance of finding loopholes in them. Because again, I can see people doing in my examination way, that because see, this is a solution that you introduce more layers and more ways, but the more the layer introduced, there is more chances of getting loophole finding any of the layers. If there is just one exam, as it is done with IIT, it's less chance to find loopholes in them. If there are 4 exams of 4 different types, this was the solution with ChatGPT. Like conduct one exam for numerical thing, conduct one different exam for theoretical thing, and conduct one exam oral to confirm those things. Like this was one of the solutions that ChatGPT gave. It is also very logical. But again, there is loopholes in all of this. We can find separate kind of loopholes in all of this. For numerical, we can find different loopholes. So basically the solution that was given by ChatGPT, all of the solutions. I can find flaws in all of
Well, don't you think when there will be a horizontal thing, then some loopholes will be enough to affect all of the inclined things, and when there will be vertical options, then
yeah.
much more loopholes will be needed.
Yeah, domino effect. Yeah, this was one of the solutions by ChatGPT as well, and I could also think of it because, as in, like, if you just have a numerical and theoretical part in one exam, and if someone is about to cheat in that exam or like make it a target, then they can cheat in just one exam for one time, like get both things and cheat one. But if there will be two parts, then they will have to do it twice. The risk and the amount of problem will be increased. These are, and both are independent. It's not like one has passed in this but it can fail in that, but if like he has passed in this, it can pass in all of them. So these are the solutions, but it's still all of the solutions that it can point out, and I can think I can also counter all of the solutions that I can think and can point out. So there is nothing concrete that I can still think of about the original example of the Arjun thing. So yeah, it is basically because of the randomness thing. It worked because of the randomness thing. I watched that segment in the series because I don't know how to read the book. And in the series also, like, no one had even like slightest idea that what he was going to do, what he was asking, or what is the actual point of the test. And also it was a surprise test. They were like randomly playing and suddenly it's like exam mode. They even did not knew that it was supposed to be exam. And okay, yeah. So
Mm.
one solution that one not solution one a thing that I had in my mind from long that I want in general to be implemented is the examination system should not be like that. You have to study and give exam, study and give exam. I like this concept of either an academy was doing it or do academy. There was some Vedantu up level scalar. There is this kind of company that will just give you certification. They will not teach, but they will give you actual recognizable certification. They will take exam, give certification, irrespective of how you study, where you study, when you study. So I like this kind of concept with respect to colleges also. Like okay, this is good enough that it is required that you have a tenure for the college. That bachelor should be 3 years or 4 years, but like make 4 years of college like syllabus. Like you have to complete these much topics in 4 years. Now if you want to give them one by one, like in one go only, you want to give all of the exams, like in 1 week you want to give 7 exams and complete a degree, you can do that. One like distribution, like it should be let to be done on teacher, on the student, and teaching should be done independently. Again, it is the middle ground of this is kind of implemented in our system in some ways, where teaching goes independent and examination goes independent. But I guess that's a good way, but I still think that it could be even better in this way, that if there will be freedom for students to have more amount of freedom with this, like they can study whatever they want whenever they want, like irrespective of if they want to study that thing at that moment or not. And if they have this upper time limit of like 3 years, then again the ones who are not stupid will complete it with their time and will do the time distribution, time management by themselves. They will also learn time management. It's not like the semester exam or the semesters will teach them time management. Again, it's the same concept. You cannot force someone to learn. So you cannot force someone to have time management and all this. So this is one of the solutions that I came up to. But again, it's not a viable solution because examination process will be different. You cannot conduct a separate exam for each student. You'll have to decide a date for all of the students so that the examination questions can be designed. Less questions should be designed and all that stuff. But around these kind of solutions I can come up to. Again, I don't have any solution in this also. Like I don't have any solution for redesigning my
Well, I am also not sure. I am sure that I don't have exact solution of it, but things that I thought was well, before going into the college or such system, there is some motivation, some goal, or some target we can say, and some desire to achieve something and to have some kind of security or all the wants. Uh, so I thought that before giving thought uh, of the system. Once the individual get into the system, I think I should give thought on how the system must bend the mentality of the applicant to. Sorry, you were not audible.
I was saying you were coming to the negative or the wrong thing that I discussed in initially only. You are saying make the people wise or the examiner wise. The solution that I proposed, that we should distribute exam like this, it will help students reduce the pressure on them, and that's why they will less likely to make measure a target. But these solutions are not
Mm.
these are not actually making a measure. These are making the measured less prone to make the measure target. This is not a solution from the designer end. It's a solution from the user end. The solution.
Uh, well, we cannot, as we also cannot train an individual to be a wise person to clear this out that whether a measure should be a target or not. Therefore, what I think is the one creating the measure or forming the measure must attempt to make the measure less prone to be a target.
Exactly, that's the point. How can we make a measure that is very that cannot become a
Yeah.
target? But cannot is like 100%. But again, that is idealism. It is not possible. So that is very very hard to make a target. Like extremely hard to make a target. Or cannot be made into a
Well,
target.
I what I thought I would like to explain it by this one situation that let's see it in this way that there is this uh, college and admission thing, entrance thing, or getting into the college thing, examination thing, basically. So, as you were saying that college of other countries and colleges here have different
Other countries,
structure.
in countries, there are a lot of countries good enough developed country who follow a specified system. If I based on intelligence of Italy itself, then I don't think they would be able to figure out this thing. But since they are part of European Union and they copy a lot of things from them, that is why it is there. Like recently, it has happened again. There was a rule for whole European Union to follow with respect to innovative and creative things, and that was it came to my university as well this year respective. But again, I was not able to participate because it was written the event will be held in Italian. So ignored the mail itself. And there was one other event that was not designed and supposed to be done from our university. It was like a rule that every university will have to do it in European Union. So and that was regarding we have to collaborate with a professor or a stream of AI of our.
which is
So my point.
which is what I was saying, na? Ki, you can't
Other
expect
countries.
people, rather you can impose things or a general guidelines to be followed in order to impose the uh, outcome of it, or weigh out the outcome of it, if you can understand. So, what I wanted to add in it is, uh, first, change this mindset of making
Okay, okay. Um,
making something a target, and for that what can be done is like this thing, the ranking thing.
Well, again, seeing problem from the student's point of view. I'm not saying to see the problem from the student's point of view.
I'm not doing it.
Again, but students want to make the measure a target, not teachers. Teachers want that their measure should only be a measure. And again, in this context, the teacher is not the teacher actually. Like teacher are also student for some principles, like that concept. Teacher is the one who is taking the test, and student is the one who is being tested. So you are saying like the students should have the mentality that they don't want to make the measure the target.
Um, I am saying that I'm not asking students to don't see the college on the basis of ranking, but the basic concept of ranking the institutes isn't fair enough, because once you rank someone, once you give an institute the post of the best, it itself becomes the major driving factor to become a target. Therefore, and whereas it isn't justified to rank some any institution as the best, because every institute has different purpose, different situation, location, whether it be demographic or there are much more aspect to to see uh, of an institution. Therefore, ranking it isn't justified, much justified, because first of all, it gives this sense that this is the best one, and it should be the target.
The
And
designing measures. You're again, I like this is a good enough solution. The solution that you propose, that is the solution that I am kind of proposing. But these are not the exact solution. These are not designing measures. You are saying make the environment such that the measurer or the teacher or student both don't want to do this. Environment, create environment like that. But it's not about environment. It's like how do we design a test? Because as I'm saying, honestly, I'm seeing it from a point of majorly from a point of AI thing or machine thing. With respect to machines, we cannot, they are not interested in college rankings and all. They have different goals, and we cannot control their environmental factors. We can control.
I did not think it with respect to AI and all.
Okay, the point at this moment is similar to AI being a model. Humans are also models, economics wise. So if the things are, we have at least this much of power to make to be able to control the environments of humans, as in ranking and all. But then
Well, whenever you are asked, whenever you ask someone to be in any, be a part of any institution, what that someone will want to be in the best available ranked institute, and why is that institute a goal for that someone? Because one of the reason behind is that it is the best available out there.
yes,
On the basis of what?
rankings and the best will give them the best, and that best is finally getting pleasure from money. Money, that's the ultimate goal, right?
I did not get that.
They want to go to the best college because the best college will give them the best opportunities and eventually best life. That means more pleasurable life to money. So that is what all they want. That is the environmental factor that is in which these both things are working. That is why the test is
It's basically it's basically that you can go for the best closing your eyes. You don't have to think of anything else. You just have to opt, or you have to make your goals for the best. Then you may achieve something that is on 2, 3, 4.
okay. So your point is it's not about measurement. It's about class classroom, like controlling the classroom or controlling the environment in which the test is supposed to be held. Like don't make
I'm
it
just saying that
important.
don't 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 give the perspective, uh, don't promote the perspective uh, to create more of targets. If the system itself promotes targets, which is kind of like this, well, Obviously, as we were discussing yesterday, that making things abstract makes it more measurable and all. But there are many things which cannot exactly be measured, and that measure will not exactly be helpful for everyone. Uh, Therefore, and the if the measure isn't is neither helpful and but it is creating more of a um, bad impact or bad strategy, then it must be looked upon. Well, this was one of the thing. Uh, then I thought of it in this way too, which kind of resembles with the randomness thing.
Basically, you are
Uh,
to
dic-
not not give strong in like, not to have too strong motive for one to make the measure target. Right? Don't make the motive. Don't don't make society so bad that people are uh, like helpless to do crime like that. So don't make the situation like that that the people are helpless to make measure the target. Right?
Not helpless, but by default tend towards doing that.
But again, this is environmental control or situation control, not actually designing a measure that cannot become a target. I know it's a good topic.
I'm not saying that it is the exact solution. It
Fine.
is one of the measure which can be. I'm not saying that this will solve all the.
Which is not also in the direction of solving problem. Also because again, as I said, if I come to my point, then you can control human environment and human variables, but not all variables. And also it is not very viable because uh, again, the system is not designed so that it is as it is. It has been designed naturally like that. It's like evolution kind of. There is a lot of population. That is why there is a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition. That is why the college should be ranked and valued and all. So you have for implementing this kind of solution for actually getting to this thing, you'll have to work on a different like the route. You are not seeing the root of this. You are it's like you're jumping from one branch to another branch, and that branch has very deeper roots than this problem's root. So environment is way hard to control compared to just controlling the test. Okay. It's not a direct solution. And again, I'm not saying the solution that I'm giving also that those are also not direct solution. I'm also trying to see things from the test perspective or
Fine.
from the student perspective. You are giving solution from the
The
perspective, and but again, we are not giving solution from the teacher's perspective.
and then there was this second one, which may resemble with the randomness thing that decrease the monopoly. Uh, by which I mean that increase the uh, number of options in order to avoid uh, a particular target, which is like not do not which completely I think doesn't remove the target thing, but there now there will be more targets than having a particular target,
Yes,
and
uh,
which was motivated by the thought that demotivate target and motivate procedure.
that could be a one way to see this thing. Motivate curve rather than motivating and demotivate fall. That's this is what we have to do. How do we do that? That's the question.
Yeah, this was the thought behind this one of the thing that I thought that decrease the monopoly or the single player thing in order to make the target less strong and more flexible in
And
order to make the target less important.
you are seeing things from the environment perspective. not from the teacher's perspective. It's like you have to again what ChatGPT was suggesting. It was supposed suggesting not environment, it was suggesting exam. Like make this kind of questions. Are you getting? Make questions that are more random.
I will come to that. I will come to that.
So the thing that you're suggesting, these are more environmental things.
Yeah, I will come to that. That specific examination
But
thing.
diversifying or multiplying number of targets will not solve the problem. It will just make
Well, I think dividing target and the way towards the target will give at least a chance. Like it's more like it will give a more space to explore and live that way towards the target with not much constraints and without much pressure. Like you just have to follow this particular syllabus to get into this particular institute, or you don't have any other option. So I'm saying to divide these targets and the way that goes to the target, and the way that is going towards these targets uh, may contain more possibility or chances to be explored. Uh, and then, uh, yeah, mm, this marks and all thing, uh, I kind of divided it into two type of people. Let's say the one is mark zombie and the other is, let's say, work zombie, who wants to
but both
work in that particular. Yeah, both are zombies. We cannot avoid the zombie. One should be any holic, either workaholic or alcoholic, which is good for ultimately the society and nation, of course, because it will increase the GDP. Well, so yeah, work zombie and the Mars zombie and the work zombie, based on which I was thinking to have a system, again, the system, a system that promotes work zombie and
I work in
demotivates,
right that motivates procedural learning than targeted learning.
yeah, more of the more of the applied thing. Means if there is this uh, psychology, if the subject is psychology, then which promotes more of the applied aspect of that subject, uh, which promotes
I used to think, but
living in that work field.
okay, applied things are necessary for engineers. They need to learn applied sciences, but scientists don't need to learn applied science. So what is actually applied depends upon the.
I'm not actually, I don't actually mean to quote the thing applied subject. I want to say by that is to be able to live that subject,
Okay, okay, passion kind of.
applying it into the applying it into your life, or in general to think by that or process with that aspect. Well, now to promote this or to manage this ratio, things that can be done, which of course the chat GPT suggested, was like, for example, let's say there is this college and I want to apply for that college. Uh, the basic application needs this SOP thing, which just asks me to tell me anything about what I am, what I had, and what I will. Uh, After that application, of course, anyone applied will be allowed to go for the next round. which I uh, think I don't know how will it sound to give a individual or some general assignments assignment that can be on the basis of anything, of course, which can be sorted by in the form itself, that in which field you are interested, and the assignment based on that field of interest will be given. And the one yeah and after which after the assignment is done or submitted by the candidates, there is this exam that we typically have, which gives chance to mark zombies too. And in within that exam, there can be some sections which uh, kind of analyzes the approach of the student towards the topic and the subject itself, like the psychologists do. They give you a paper and they ask you to fill it down, and then after that they calculate that how or what psychological flaw you have. So you can use this mechanism too, and after which yeah here I thought that this sheet or this part of the examination which analyzes the approach of an individual will give chance to work zombie, and the exam the other uh, sections of the exam will give chance to mark zombies. And um, obviously assignment will overall give the uh, uh, give the whole approach of the individual, which again I think supports work zombie. And then SOP will the SOP application that was with the application will support both of them. And if the institute itself mm, tells or indicates that it will give more weightage to uh, or least weightage to the examination thing, which was just the technical stuff, the syllabus stuff, then it will become less prioritized, uh, because of course the institutions that all the institutions that are available in which I can take admission do not care much of the examination. They care more of the other aspects, that is the evaluation on the based of whatever psychological criteria, the assignment that I did, the uh, SOP I gave, and overall of this. Of course, after which you can say no, I will again take interview, but I did not add that interview part too, because I think the SOP itself kind of gives the chance to candidate to express himself or herself. The countdown here it starts. Um, hmm. So the less ratio given to the marks people will itself demotivate the mark zombies. And
Yeah, I got your basic gist. Do you know how the IIT exams are done? Yeah, IIT exams. There are two. Earlier there was just one exam. Now they have improved the system for this thing. The first exam is IIT mains. That is just marks zombie pure function maximizer. IIT advanced exam is supposed to be more intuitive. This is the argument that I had with
which
Kushal.
will be given by the people who have
Have
qualified.
qualified the mains exam, and
Yeah.
this is the same
So
as well.
for
That
sitting on that intuitive one, you will have to be
yeah,
the one who,
only
yeah,
marks zombie are allowed to become a work zombie.
work zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first that's the problem. In this sense, it's like the JEE advanced exams are supposed to be more intuitive and more what to say work oriented assignment kind of exam, because again I have done those kind of questions too. Those are like again applied questions, like not just applied in the way that you want to refer to applied, because also because the questions that we get in the exams over there in my university, those questions are just of exams of the advanced level. I have shown these questions to people who have given exams of IIT. They tell that, and some are even like harder in the hard segment of those segments, because again the bell curve thing that they follow, they want to do that. If they're taking just one exam, they will give it that exam. Like, and especially when it comes to technical things, important things like DSN, then they make even that advanced level of exam. That's why it is called advanced level तक सवाल है कि mains level का. Mains level सवाल है come easier because they are easier to make targets of. And but my problem is that I have seen this in my coaching when I have studied. It is harder to make the assignment thing or the JE advanced targets, JE advanced questions a target, but then also they make that measure a target. And it can be done because of again it is linked to this, and it is possible. Talking about SOP, so a lot of people are not very honest, and it's similar to Munna Bhai, they can make certificates within nights, and the certificates with all the stamps and international valid, because they have links till government. Because again, if someone is going to international level, they have a lot of money and they have a lot of links till government level, so they can make certificates of international level within nights. So the SOP thing, because you will base your SOP on that. For writing SOP, hire a writer like me. They will write good things. For proving the good things, give money to buy certificates. So both things can be done. So the system fails like this in this aspect.
Well, if you see it this way, then
So
everything is independent, isn't independent.
the,
Everything is dependent, or all the system, whether it be education, finance, or healthcare, is kind of interdependent in some or the other way.
dependent.
Uh, so you can.
I'm talking about
This is why the regulations are
I'm talking about your way
to.
assignment. They will make assignment target. They will start training themselves to just work on assignment. Are you getting? No matter what target you give measure you design, they will train themselves to target that target. If they
I am not
have
saying that this will. I'm not saying that this will uh, completely eradicate this mindset to make the things target.
good solution, that is why
But if you,
solution after having AITS. Earlier, it was not the scene. Earlier, there was just one exam for IIT exam, IIT colleges. Now they have like thought all this, I guess, came to this conclusion, and that is why they have weird it. But then also that system is also not working very properly. As I told you, after a while, it becomes bad. 1930 crisis. So the crisis have came along ago, like from 2020, and after that thing happened, when they started having multiple sets of JEE advanced exam, they have found a lot of ways to make the measure target. It takes people some time to make the measure target. They need to learn loopholes and all, but they have done it. It is very badly done there. And in my exams also, in my country also, a lot of people put some
well,
they put some
as I gave this thing, the other thing also, that if the supply side of the education is good enough, then it will not be much more competitive or rigorous in order to uh, get over everything. If you can understand, if I have this clinic here and this clinic here, which both are free and gives me the equal treatment, then I don't have the goal to get to that clinic. I will just need my treatment that has to be done or made.
so but okay, in all three solutions that you proposed and things you talked about, one was regarding environment, other was how we do that environment thing. Like first was to the monopoly thing, second was how do we do the first point, and the third point has already been done and it is not working.
I don't think so. Exactly, it is
It
done
is not
how it.
efficiently. And again, as I said, the
You're not saying it in that way. The IIT thing that you are saying is the first examination is just to cut of the crowd, because there are large number of students, and all cannot get the admission, and the more the number of applicants will be, the more the examination will be tougher, and more it will be rigorous thing. So it is not just that in that just education aspect. Here is also the here comes the demographic reasons of it. You are not audible.
10 minutes are too long. The meeting has not stopped. Room has not closed. They started charging me money, I guess. Wow.
3 minutes. 3 minutes is left.
Oh, hi.
So
Mine is not showing any timer anywhere. Okay, okay, yeah.
yeah, so basically what I had, the motivation was to break down the initial goal into some smaller goals, uh, and the fulfillment of the smaller goals will make it more joyous, in order to more entertaining, in order to make the main goal more
Was one of the solution that ChatGPT gave to have assignment. 25% will be from this part, from partial exams, then again midterm exam, unit test. Now you're coming to that part, but that has its own set
and
of.
I did not go to chat GPT for this solution. This was
No, no,
what I
I was confirming my solutions, which literally like nearly it gave 7, 8 solutions. Out of those, 5, 6 I already thought of. I did not thought of the peer review thing and student review thing that is suggested, because it was like again using the social factor. I'm not thinking the things from the social factor. It the base was, if there will be student pressure to not make the measure target, then it will not be like this was the solution. But I'm not thinking, because computers don't care about their peers. I'm not thinking from that perspective. So like out of 8, 7 solution, like 5 I already have thought of what ChatGPT gave. It was not like a drastic help also. Anyhow, so what
why
is
don't you ask chat GPT itself that how can you improve it?
I will do that. I'll talk to that ChatGPT only for a while now also. So what are your conclusions? Like we should wrap this up before the next timer or meeting or whatever.
So this was my conclusion, that to get to the or to make the
To control
main
your student.
main measure to be more important enough to become a target, make sub measures or sub
Half yearly exam
targets which
that have their own flaws. You know, I've already told them. They will start maximizing those small things. They will start making
I'm
those.
not saying to have even half yearly is again study this particular subject, to give this particular examination, to get till this examination.
They're talking about pre-board. We have already been enough through education system, so we can use examples. First point was the major point. Second point was explaining the first point, and third point was independent, like not related to the first, second point.
Yeah, and talking about this, then this was, I think, the short-term thing. Means before getting into the institute, and what you were telling, that pre-board and half-yearly thing is after getting into the institute.
Not about
So
that. You're saying it, but it's not about that. It's about when anytime there is a test of any sort for anything, there should be some specific ways.
yeah, you're saying that it must be more philosophically driven rather than
measure,
situation.
not just the measure that is supposed to decide in which college you'll go, but also the measure that will decide how much intelligence you have. The purpose of measure is not to decide college, but to tell the amount of intelligence or whatever skill set is required.
The purpose of that the purpose of the entrance and the examination of the institute is, I think, different. I mean, the purpose should be like, I think that universities are not like, they are more than a place where smart people gather, instead of a place of study or something like that. It gives an environment or the ecosystem of the smart minds trying to uh, help each other and help each other out and learn more things. And the purpose of the examination that gives the qualification thing is more than tagging someone very good or bad, because the degree doesn't have the scores in that. It just says that yeah, you were in the part of the process, and in this much amount of time. And of course, if you go for the corporate and all, they also don't see your marks. Basically, they will be more of interested in your experience and what you can add on to their institution instead of what you have scored.
But you are again diverting from the topic. That's not the importance of measuring everything.
Yeah. So basically, what I trying to say is that it's also an individual's understanding that the competition that is being created around isn't the real one, because actually no one cares. The only who is about to appear for that cares about it, and no one else cares from that result too. But I think the whole fight is for just getting into that ecosystem, which is, I think, more strongly.
Now you have become more specific. Till now you were specific to examinations, and now you are specific to competitive exam. Not even
Yeah.
हमको अपना कंटिन्यू ना करना है. Okay, well, okay, I get your point, but again, this is why I guess the solution that you're suggesting are not fundamental and universal. They are very specific enough to not be applicable. Not be like you cannot again, and also you have not suggested like the third solution that you suggested from the teacher's point of view. That is already done. It is done in examination. It is done in international ways. But again, it is done. So you are telling what is already been created. That's nothing new. And the other thing that you said, those are environmental factors, and those are not properly controllable and sensible. So, like, what actually is your sense? Because right now I was reading
environmental factors are the factors which actually influence
directly, but it's not like designing a measure in which environmental factors are indifferent, are not required. Like the environmental, the system, the measure is indifferent to environmental factor. That kind of system, like this third point that you said, that is indifferent to the environmental factors. The in which like have one exam for zombies, one exam for procedure ones, like this kind of thing. This is indifferent. Are you getting? The teacher should be indifferent of the environment. The student should be indifferent of the environment. That kind of measure I'm talking about. Also, right now, when you said to ask that question to ChatGPT directly, how to make a measure that cannot be by AI machines, then one thing that it gave was noise, adding noise to the questions. And I was like, okay, yeah, this is also done in advanced level questions. And in our, I told you, it is very hard to understand questions only. And by noise, it means like give useless information in the question, like that kind of thing. Or again, in case of AIs, add corrupt data also along with correct data so that it can differentiate. With the example of Arjun and all, there was a lot of noise in the environment. There was noise by which a lot of people got distracted. and the person who was not able to get distracted by the noise were the Dhanudhar and all. So yeah, that is also a good solution that I did not thought about, along with randomness, adding of noise, more the noise addition. But that can also become a problem because no, that's not problem. That's a good solution. It does not have any flaws. I guess I cannot find any flaw to that solution. And also the surprise testing.
That is what I kind of meant from increasing the number of
test
options and.
But you are saying so that there will be more number of options, so there will be less competition and there will be less requirement for there will be less urge in students to make a specific target, a specific measure target. Now you are not saying it with respect to introduce extra or useless options. Noise is useless basically. So
it is. I think you are saying it
on
with
the teacher's
respect of filtration process.
No, in the exam, add useless questions.
Yeah, from the filtration process.
No, in
which will again filter
any
on the basis of one who can
spot the real
take
who have real intuitive understanding of the topic, who have done the procedure, who have gyan. Only they can they can see the basis and focus on points. The one who are just targeting and maximizing function, they will get affected by the user's information as well. So this is a
that's all part of the but two different aspect of that examination that I was saying.
And this is very applicable solution. Like ChatGPT thought of it and I could not think of it yet. That's a very surprising thing, but not thought of it, but it's
ChatGPT.
Because after I was waiting and trying to find a counter to this example. How can we how will this become useless? But from machines also, it is very hard to pass this thing without being without understanding. And for humans also, that is why a lot of humans get stuck in this kind of questions. Right? When useless information is added, or when a small changes is done in not and all. See, this is what I was asking about, how to make a measure that cannot become a target. Add noise to the measure. This is the solution. This kind of solution I need. And actually, ChatGPT gave 7 points. The crux of the 7 points is noise, because in one it was talking about diversification of noise. Like again, basic point in a very different ways, but the root is to add more noise. This kind of solution I'm talking about. This was the solution that I thought to discuss and come to conclusions with. Okay, but I guess we will have to postpone this point as well for later, like the money one. Okay. Yeah. So from my end of conclusion also, I'm just stating the problem. It was my point, so I don't need to give the conclusion. I gave the premise. You give the conclusion. I don't know what to do. I'm thinking about it. Again, François Chalet is the one chief scientist in this field. I know, but I don't know. IQ tests are designed. I don't know how to do it. I'm still thinking. But this was a good, again, at least I got an example at this moment. What could be a good, how could we design a good measure? Like add noise. We need to make more things like this. ChatGPT also suggested multi-layer thing that has been failing. This noise thing I've been seeing and it has been actually working. Because it works in advanced questions also of IT. It works in with my questions also. When in exam I get questions and I've just studied for passing, I cannot pass the exam because there's too much of noise. I'm not sure how to tell, what to tell. Is it what is this asking? So yeah, this is a good way. Well, okay, so think more about it. And we will have to do this again sometime on this topic. So none of the topics are properly covered, na? Anyhow, leave it. Okay, bye.